The sight was shocking. Rows of bodyguards surrounding Jimin created a wall so impenetrable that even seasoned observers of the entertainment industry were left questioning what they had just witnessed. Why would one artist, even a member of BTS, require a level of protection resembling that of a state leader? Why now, and why Jimin? These questions ignited a storm of speculation, leaving fans and analysts equally unsettled. The scale of the security detail was not simply about numbers. It was about structure, precision, and intent. Multiple layers of personnel moved in calculated formations, each one positioned with military-like discipline. Observers noted that this was not the typical protective shield celebrities are accustomed to. This was an escalation, an extraordinary measure suggesting either an unprecedented risk or a strategic decision designed to send a message. But what message, and to whom? Fans on the ground described the atmosphere as suffocating. Attempts to catch even a fleeting glimpse of Jimin were thwarted by the tightly coordinated perimeter. Unlike the usual fan-artist interaction that defines BTS's presence, the distance imposed this time felt deliberate, cold, and absolute. Many were left not just disappointed, but deeply unsettled. If security was this extreme, what danger was lurking just beyond the public's knowledge? The reaction of Jin, who happened to witness the scene, only deepened the mystery. Known for his composure and humor, his sudden shock was caught on camera, and that image spread across platforms within minutes. If even Jin, a senior figure within BTS, was visibly startled by the sheer magnitude of the protection around Jimin, it suggests this operation was extraordinary, even by their own internal standards. The shock in his eyes mirrored the collective bewilderment of millions who saw the images online. Behind the spectacle lies a more profound question. Is this purely about safety, or is it about control? In the world of global entertainment, security is not only a shield against risk, it is also a symbol of power, influence, and status. Deploying dozens of bodyguards does not merely protect an artist, it redefines their image. Jimin, already an icon to millions, suddenly appeared untouchable, elevated into a sphere of existence far removed from ordinary celebrity. It is as if his management wanted the world to see him not just as an artist, but as an untouchable figure, protected to the point of being unreachable. This raises another layer of speculation. Could the overwhelming presence of security be part of a calculated narrative? Entertainment history has shown how perception can be engineered, how even the sight of protection can be manipulated to create intrigue, fear, or admiration. By surrounding Jimin with a force that resembles state-level security, the narrative shifts from idol to global entity. The psychological effect is immediate. Audiences are left with one resounding thought: something monumental is happening, yet the absence of answers fuels unease. If there were an imminent threat, why has no explanation surfaced? If this is a promotional strategy, why does it feel so extreme? The silence creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, speculation thrives. Some argue that the move was triggered by safety concerns too grave to be shared publicly. Others insist it is a deliberate staging, a method of heightening attention ahead of a major announcement. The truth remains obscured, but the impact is undeniable. The conversation has shifted entirely toward Jimin, his safety, and the mystery surrounding him. For ARMY, the loyal fanbase that has followed BTS through every stage of their career, the moment is both distressing and bewildering. They are accustomed to seeing their idols at close range, even if only for a wave or a brief glance. This time, however, the wall of security communicated something else entirely, a boundary that fans were not allowed to cross. Some interpreted this as a betrayal of the intimacy that BTS has always promised. Others saw it as a necessary evolution, the price of fame that has transcended normal levels of global stardom. The strategic implications cannot be ignored. By enforcing a security perimeter of this magnitude, the message is clear. Jimin is operating on a level where ordinary safeguards are no longer sufficient. This changes not just his image, but the way the industry perceives him. He is no longer simply a performer. He is a high-value figure whose movements must be orchestrated with the kind of precision normally reserved for leaders and diplomats. The escalation may mark a turning point, a moment in which the boundary between entertainment and global influence becomes irrevocably blurred. What remains most compelling, however, is Jin's reaction. His shock serves as a barometer. If someone who has lived through the highest peaks of global fame, who has performed in front of stadiums filled with hundreds of thousands, can still be taken aback, then the situation is far from ordinary. His stunned expression is not merely a personal reaction. It is a signal to the world that something unprecedented has occurred. His silence afterward, his lack of public commentary, only intensifies the speculation. Was his shock rooted in genuine concern? Or was it the realization that even he, as a member of BTS, was not fully aware of the scale of operations unfolding around Jimin? The question lingers. Is Jimin facing an unseen threat, or is this an unveiling of a larger plan? Until clear answers emerge, the event stands as one of the most puzzling and dramatic moments in recent memory. A member of the world's most famous group, suddenly elevated beyond reach, shielded by a fortress of bodyguards, while even his closest companion looks on in disbelief. This is not merely a story about security. It is about perception, power, and the delicate balance between access and distance. It forces fans, observers, and analysts to confront a reality that feels both unsettling and historic. What's really going on behind Jimin's extra security? For now, the silence surrounding that question is louder than any official statement could ever be. The aftermath of Jimin's reinforced security presence has not only dominated headlines, but has also sparked an international conversation about the intersection of celebrity, safety, and public image. In the days following the event, reactions have been polarized. Some view the heightened security as a legitimate necessity, while others interpret it as a calculated maneuver. Regardless of interpretation, the sheer scale of attention proves that the incident has achieved its primary effect. It has forced the world to look, analyze, and question. Within fan communities, the division of perspectives has become particularly visible. A significant portion of ARMY perceives the extraordinary security as evidence of a credible, undisclosed threat. Their concerns stem from the understanding that global figures like Jimin inevitably attract individuals or groups whose behavior crosses acceptable boundaries. In this view, the added protection is simply a preventive action to safeguard his well-being. Others, however, argue that the formation of dozens of bodyguards is disproportionate to any potential threat, framing it instead as a deliberate media tactic. To them, the excessive security not only ensures Jimin's safety but also strategically amplifies his public profile. What makes the situation more complex is the absence of clear information. Silence from official channels has provided room for speculation to grow unchecked. Each photograph of Jimin behind layers of body